This meeting is being recorded.
All right. I want to thank everyone for being on. This is our first time to be doing a lunch and learn. I am Kristin Gunderson, the CEO of Gunderson's Bookkeeping. Buddy, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Sure. It's Buddy McMahon with Action Coach Business Coaching in North Houston.
All right. And we have two special guests on today. We have Keisha and we also have Monica, and I'm going to have them introduce themselves and to tell you a little bit about their business and just a brief overview of where they're at right now and tell a little bit about themselves. Keisha, I'll let you go first.
My name is Keisha James. I am from Montana. I am currently living in Vermont. I own a cleaning business, and we have been in business for about 17 months at this point in time, relatively new still. I grew up in a cleaning business. My dad had a cleaning business my entire childhood, and we helped as a family, and then when I got older, really helped more with that when I was in my young formative years. My background is in management. I ended up going over to food service and loving management, and then I got married. I have 3 kids. My oldest is turning 6, and my middle just turned 4, and my youngest is turning 2 next week. So we are absolutely in the thick of it right now. And that was kind of where the business came from. I wanted a little bit of a break. My youngest was about 6 months old, and my in-laws were really gracious to take my kids once a week overnight. And after a few weeks of that, I hate to say I got bored, but I was like, I should do something with my time, right? And when you get married, there's your money as a couple, and then anything that he makes on the side is also your money, but then anything that I make is my money, right? And that's what I wanted, was more of my money. And so it really had started before COVID, was a first little bit of a get up and go, and then COVID put it on hold. And so I thought, you know what, there's a big need in our area. We have a huge tourism with skiing and foliage in Vermont, and just the beauty of Vermont and small town atmosphere. However, there is not a lot of younger people. It's like, anyway, so there was a huge opportunity is really where I'm coming. And it was like, you know what, we could do something really professional, reliable, and build this right from the get-go. And we really wanted to be a people's champion. So something that was important to me from the beginning was paying people a livable wage. So in the state of Vermont, livable wage before gas went up was $23.56. The average person in Vermont makes between, getting out started, $12 to $17 an hour. And that's just not enough. It's a huge problem. There's a huge housing crisis, which I don't believe is a housing crisis. I believe it's an income crisis. So we wanted to just be able to really share this opportunity and change the economic stature in our area. So we currently, fast forward, we exploded in business. We now have 3 full-time employees, 3 part-time employees, plus my husband and myself. We serve private and rental residential homes. So we don't have any commercial, because one of the things of Vermont is where we live, there's not a lot of commercial. So that's really our bread and butter. So that's a little bit about our company, and it's just been an amazing process so far, and just a lot of learning in between. And our biggest thing, our company, our morals are honesty, integrity, and having fun. And the last one is really the most important to me. If you're not having fun, literally doing the work that can be crappy that we do, it's not worth it, And so it's a big part for me. So that's me.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. All right. Monica, do you want to give an update about yourself and introduce yourself to everyone?
Yes, ma'am. My name is Monica Rose. I own Southern Magnolia Cleaning Services. We are here in the great state of Texas. I am 5th generation Texan. Thus our company name. I did not want to be that typical Monica's Cleaning or Rose Cleaning. I wanted something different. So a little homage to our state and to our family. So that's how we came about that name. Background on me is our business will turn 5 in December. So I'm really excited about that. I have 3 adult kids. I gained 2 sons this year. Both of my daughters got married. So that was a little stressful, but also really exciting. So it'll be interesting to see what the next couple of years bring for that. My background is law. I was a family law paralegal for 16 years. Having a son or an adult son with autism is the reason why I stepped out of law. And much like Keisha, looked around in the community and asked myself, okay, what do we need? And while there were cleaning companies, there weren't reliable cleaning companies. The big names were out there for us, like a Molly Mates, those type of companies. So when I started out, it was just me, and then we started growing. So then I brought my oldest daughter on to help. And then I've had a few contract workers enter COVID. So that really made me have to refocus and figure out, okay, because even though we're a cleaning company, people didn't want people in their homes, even though we're a cleaning company. But we were very fortunate that we had loyal customers who were paying us even though we weren't coming in their home. Or if they hit the pause button once they were comfortable, we were the ones we called. I reached out to Buddy, and that's about the time that I got on board with Buddy as well, because it was, we're not a franchise, it's this is what I created. So there's nobody above me. I don't have a playbook, but you recognize that if you're going to keep your doors open, you have to do something. So, you know, fast forward, Buddy has been an absolute anchor over the last 2 years of growing the business, getting me from my home and garage into an office, helping to find reliable employees, which this year has been, it's been a very large task. Anything that you ever thought about what you knew for our hiring process for our state, throw it out the window. Just that book is throw it out the window, because employees are looking for different things now. They're looking for a work environment that is healthy, that is inspiring. Keisha hinted on wage. Change our, not change, but increase our wage so that our employees are able to meet their living needs. Buddy's been instrumental in coming up with creative ways to attract those employees we want, because they're coming into people's homes. Southern Magnolia, we handle both residential and small commercial. So small commercial could be a private building, it could be a private office, it could be a private floor. Our residentials are everything from, you know, 1,300 square feet to the homes we have out in Carlton Woods, which run anywhere from 6,000 to 13,000 square feet. So it's been an interesting year, but you know, we're excited with where we're at. We currently have four full-time employees plus myself, and we're getting ready to actually bring on 2 more. So it's just, for our state, it's been an interesting year. So but it's been fun, and like I think Keisha hit the nail on the head. Cleaning is hard work, it's dirty work, and you've got to have and foster a work environment where your employees want to come there, because if your employees are happy, then when they take care of your clients, then they're excelling at their jobs, and then your clients are happy. So it's a flip of the coin on both sides of the situation to make sure you're taking care of the clients and you're taking care of the employees. But that's a little bit of who and what I am.
Right. Well, I love the fact that you both come from different backgrounds and different professional backgrounds. And so that blows all the mindset stuff right out of the window, right from the get-go. And I like that. I once upon a time was a plumbing contractor and spent a lot of times trying to elevate the professionalism in that trade. So both plumbers and house cleaners aren't high on the society's concept totem pole. And you two both are doing an excellent job at bringing that professionalism and really realizing. And Monica and I talk all the time about, hey, the two ladies in a car that are just kind of coming up and maybe stealing your customer, that's really not your client. Do you want the homeowners that appreciate that you're licensed, bonded, and insured, professional, reliable, you have a schedule, et cetera, et cetera. So I love the professionalism that you both bring to the table. And my first question that I'd like to ask is that, what was your biggest challenge when you first started versus what does that biggest challenge look like today? Who would like to go first? Okay, we have a volunteer.
I would say that my biggest challenge was learning through my weaknesses. My weaknesses are paperwork, whether it be physical or virtual, numbers and taxes. I've always worked for a company and they dealt with that. So learning that myself was definitely a challenge. And then also on the other side of it, personnel, and really leaning into management and what it means to be a leader. And, every person is their own situation. So and for me it was just about overcoming those. Just looked like finding the right people. I love the book Good to Great by Jim Collins, and he talks about that bus, and he talks about the right people being in the right seats on that bus. And for me, it's not, my bus doesn't necessarily just include my employees. It includes the support of the tribe that you have around you, and you do have to find the right fit for certain people. So for me, it was getting, very similar to you, Monica. I found a coach, a business and a life coach, and, have had a few different influences. But then also a really great bookkeeper with Kristin Gunderson. It's always really interesting. And I don't think my husband will watch this recording, but he always says your business turned around when you met Gunderson. And it really is a game changer. And it was just like, you learn a lot, and when you have someone that you can trust. The other part of that was finding really great employees and being ruthless. If you don't fall in line with our company values, you are not on the bus. It doesn't matter how great you clean. If you don't have integrity, if I can't trust you, we don't have room. And then also just the support system, really leaning into whether it's a friend or a spouse or someone safe to be able to talk to of that support system has been a really big thing for me. And delegation, that is also, was a big weakness in the beginning, because when you are the person who's starting it up, when you're the one who's paving the way and making the system, you don't have a guidebook, like Monica said. So it's like, well, what do I want to do? And then all of a sudden you're doing all of the things and saying to yourself, well, I can't have someone else do this. It's all up here. And so then going, okay, how do we put this on paper? How do we train this? How do we become a resource of the go-to for them to be enabled to continue to go? So that's some of our challenges and how we've overcome them.
Monica?
So for me in the beginning, it was, okay, this is what I want to do. And then it was going out and finding those people. And I literally started with my church group because I didn't know how else to get it out there. And I'm so excited because when we celebrate our 5-year, my very first 2 customers are still with us. And so I'm really, excited. We have something, special planned for them because they have been with us through the ups and the downs of our business. Staffing shortage, because there isn't a person who can pull a chair up to the employee table right now and say, hey, I didn't have a staffing issue this year. I think that's something we've all bumped into on some on some level. But I know when I started it, having the legal background, I knew what to do to keep myself protected. I knew what I needed to do once I was ready to start bringing on workers. I knew enough of the definition between contractor and employee to figure out, okay, we need to shift from contractor to employee. I have, I don't delegate well. I do much better about it. Mindy's my manager. She's really good about slapping my hand and saying, hey, I'm supposed to do that. And she takes it away from me, which is great, because she keeps that buffer between me and some of the stuff that I don't need to be spending the time on. It's not that I can't do it. It's just take my energy over here and feed it over in this part of the business so that the employees benefit and the clients benefit. But I think, our biggest challenge was it's, like Keisha said, when you realize, okay, we're going to bring people on, it's, you get some good ones and then you get some bad ones. And Buddy can testify to this. The first time I was ready to let someone go, I called him. So I was like, I don't know how in the world to do this, because I didn't want to be, mean, which sounds weird because when you're a family law paralegal, you sit right there with the attorney and you have to become very immune to like feelings and stuff, as somebody would say. But, it's once you have what your team mantra is and who you want at your table and the toolboxes that you're passing out, metaphorically speaking, then it shifts how you run your business versus, okay, I literally just need a body to get this job done, because that's not what your clients are wanting. Clients are trusting us that who is walking through their front door is going to take care of them correctly, especially since we do commercial. If they're in their office space, that they're respecting that space and they're just in there cleaning, they're not in there through, snooping or anything like that. And I'm sure Keisha's probably heard some of those stories too. And that's the biggest thing, is that in the community, when we started 5 years ago, yes, there were cleaning companies around. Now through COVID and because of where we're located, cleaning companies have almost become like a donut shop, say. They're like on every single corner. And so we have really had to work hard this year to show, okay, this is the difference between us and say Jenny Sue and her best friend who are cleaning and they're not insured and they're not bonded, versus Molly Maid. So and sometimes through some of this, we find that we have found some really good referral partners, because we might not necessarily do this type of clean, but over here, this company does, and they have a really solid reputation. So we've been very careful when finding our competitors, and also looking for who can be a referral partner for us in the cleaning community, because ultimately we want to find some way to work together to get rid of the stigmatism that cleaning companies have, that, oh, this must have been all that we could do. I mean, like, look at Keisha's background, my background. Our company is part of AHCA. Some of the leaders that are in AHCA, you would be surprised with their background. And that's part of our mission, is to really professionalize the cleaning industry. And that means we have to do that through the people that we're hiring. And then that trickles down to our clients. There's a huge difference of when you're running your company with the calendar, you've got a business coach that you can fall back on. Your team members are showing up in a like uniform with the same supplies, the same equipment, not some stuff from Dollar Greens and stuff from Walmart. All of these minute details really impact the clients, which help us to get referrals. And it's those little details that have helped us to differentiate ourselves from all of the other companies. Because I don't know about you, Keisha, in Montana, but here in Texas, where I'm at, we're getting everyone, and it's a challenge. I like a challenge, bring a challenge on, but ultimately, at the end of the day, we want our clients, taken care of. And I think if we can survive COVID, if we can survive inflation, if we can survive staffing shortages and a gas hike, even here in Texas, right next door to all the oil and gas refineries, then I feel like, okay, let's just see what the next 5 years are going to bring. What else can we get into? What else can we find? And how else can we help grow our business and raise the level of professionalism for the cleaning industry?
Awesome. Thank you. So I have a question of what are y'all doing for hiring? Like, where are you going to find them? What is your hiring process? What tips and tricks are you using to weed out and to be able to find the employees that are going to be good fits?
I would say for us, like I said, we threw the entire playbook out. We completely threw it out. The site that I have found to be the most successful, and you have to be patient. Oh my gosh, you've got to be patient, is through Indeed. Between Buddy and I both, we created what we call the unicorn ad. And I mean, the word unicorn is literally in my employee ad. I am looking for unicorns. I am looking for the person that really likes to clean. Mindy, my manager, once I cold through some of them, I'll pass on what I'm interested in. She cold calls them. We don't schedule appointments anymore. She'll give them 24 hours to respond. If they don't, then we take them off the list, because if they can't even have the courtesy to message, then how are they going to treat our employee? So that's the way that we look at it. We don't do individual interviews anymore. We do group interviews. And the same concept, if you agree to come to my group interview, but you can't even message me to reschedule or show up, then you'll do the same thing to our clients. And we don't want that. So we have found by doing it this way, we are able to cull out a lot of behavior we don't want impacting other team members or affecting our clients, because nothing is worse than, say you're hosting a birthday party and you're expecting, 2 people to show up because you've got a 2,800 square foot home. And we said it'll roughly take us between 3.5 to 4, and one person shows up. And your party starts at 6. And what happens if they're late? That whole domino effect that starts happening, it doesn't look good for your company. And then it puts additional stress on the employee. So that's what we run our ad. We'll run it about 2 weeks, and then we'll pull it for 2 weeks, because there's kind of an algorithm there that you don't want your ad running consistently, because potential employees might go, that company's got a problem. They're always looking for people. So they're going to be thinking either we pay poorly, not enough hours, too many hours. By and large, we have, women are the ones that are looking for these positions. So they might be wondering, okay, is there, we got infighting, or so that's what we do. We run it for 2 weeks. We'll do rolling group interviews for 2 weeks, and then we pull it for 2. This last time, oh my gosh, Buddy, how long did I do that? I think about 4 months we did this. And then this last time we did it, we hired 4, and those 4 are still, they're still with us. So it takes patience, but for our state, we literally took every rule that about hiring and chunked it out the window and created our own playbook. And it's worked because clients are happy, employees are happy. And so right now that's what's working. So that's what we're doing.
So in the great state of Vermont, we are also suffering with hiring. And even if you have a great hiring wage, I don't know if people think it's too good to be true, or if it is that hard of a job. It is hard work. So I have been very, very lucky. I have no tips to share. I've been really lucky. I found my first and longest employee. Her name is Kristin. So that's why we call this one Gunderson, to really differentiate. It was actually really funny. One time I forwarded an email to Gunderson about a towel needing toilet paper, and she's like, I don't deal with this. But she fell into my lap using Facebook Marketplace, just a posting with Facebook Marketplace, and she's been with me from July of 2021, and it has been an amazing process there. Most of all of the rest of my employees have been referrals, either from a current employee or from just, hey, I heard you're a great company to work for. I have, if I can be honest, a real no BS policy when working for me. We like to have fun, but I don't do drama. I don't do any of that. And people like that, when there are higher expectations, when you provide, here is the rule book, I'm going to hand it out to all of you. We're going to go over it so that way we can all win. Everybody shows up different and better. We put a lot into leadership training. We do a lot of, team bonding, so to speak. It's like I have a phrase, am I happy? Am I happy in a house before I leave it? But also, am I happy with what's going on with the employee? And I will just I am the most confrontational person that I want to solve it now. I want to make sure that we're good for a vibe. The big thing that we have that is probably one of the draws for people to work for us is our number one policy is PMA, positive mental attitude. I do not care what you have going on in your home life. When you show up for work, you need to be 100% mental attitude, physical attitude, ready to go. And I give scenarios. There might be a day that you're not good. Your cat is sick. Okay. We're going to have a conversation. Can you come to work 100%? And if the answer is no, you're taking the day off. That's not me sending you home. Now, something actually does happen and you need to take the day. That's totally fine. And when you show up and you can be there for that person in a way that no one else has been before, they will stick with you with anything that could ever nastily be found on a toilet. They've got your back. And that's one thing that's huge to me.
That's awesome. And the one thing I was thinking, Keisha, you didn't mention it, and I don't know if it even works for hiring, but you give your employees massages, like for every 40 hours, they get a massage.
I keep forgetting to mention that. Yes.
Yeah.
And I do use that as a draw as well as a selling point when I am getting clients and doing house visits with clients. I say, we don't have benefits yet, so to speak, but here's a couple things I offer. For every 40 hours they work, they get a 1 hour massage. We're putting back into our community. We're putting back into people. And I tell them, you use it or lose it, but you need to take care of yourself. And they all love it. They all have all of their little bookings all done out for the busy season because it is really tough work. And you treat them well, they will continue to show up. People I have found, yes, of course, they're looking for actual benefits, but what they're looking for is to be valued. They're looking to be able to show up every day and go, you are important to my organization, because without you, I can't do this. It's really what it comes down to.
Great stuff. Great stuff. So I have a question for both of you now. If you could change one thing in the next 30 days in your business, what would it be? You're rubbing the genie bottle and I'm giving you a magic wand. What are you going to change in the next 30 days that you'd really like to?
That's a great question.
It is, and I'm a little stumped, and I don't get stumped very often. I think if I had probably one change, is if it would probably be a change over the next 30 days would be just to really solidify the team that we have, to ensure that when we step into the new year, because our busy season is on us now, which means additional holiday bookings on top of our regular. This is where we find new clients. This is where we find new employees, is to, ensure that they're solid and good to go for the next year, and that there's enough so that when we're done with this busy season, I can give them that paid time off at the beginning of January so that they can allow themselves to reset and regroup, and then, be able to start that second week of January good to go, because We are normally open Monday through Friday, but once the holiday season, we're Monday through Saturday. And then we allow one appointment in the afternoon on Sunday after church. So anybody that goes to church, whatever their religion is, they're able to go and do that and have some family time in the morning. But that would be my magic genie, is that somewhere through here, we find the additional clients that we're looking for our Q4 goal. And then those additional 2 members, and then really solidify them, give them the whole toolbox, and then kick off January in a really strong, positive way, so that, we don't have the roller coaster ride that we did this past year, where we start out smooth. That would be mine.
If I could have, if things, whatever, for 30 days, in the next 30 days, we're in our off season right now. We have a little bit of a respite for just a hot second. So we talk in our company about how we're athletes and this is our off season. And just like in any other game out there, you still need to train in the off season. So right now we're focusing on systems. We're focusing on when it is game day, 6 days a week, and you're doing 10-a-days, you've got to be consistent from the first job to the last job, and quality is everything. So if I had my way and everything went really well over the next 30 days, we would be super, super strong. We have 2 seasonal employees that we're going to be taking on that come on in December, which is going to be a very big breath of air. The other part 2 of that would be for our systems to continue out, which is not needing me in the field. And that's a big goal that we're getting to right now, is me not being needed in the field, because I'll work 12-hour days. I will, but for every hour I'm cleaning, I create at least 3 hours of admin, that just backs up, and so it's not necessarily about, because I love being in the field. It's like one of my favorite things ever. But it's like, okay, now we got to actually look at the business and make sure everything is flowing, and not put my head in the sand when it comes to the paperwork and numbers and whatnot. So getting into a really great system for the busy season to really be able to pass the ball well.
Great answers. Kristin, do you have another question?
No, I don't have any other questions. Do you, buddy?
Well, let's see. Why don't we talk about clients and, challenges with them? Monica and I talk about A, B, C, D clients, and we fire the D clients. We try to move the C's to B's and that type of thing. So how do we get client loyalty and maintain that? And how do we weed out the people that are just price shopping or a little too nitpicky, let's say?
I think for us, I know for us, and I'm going to use COVID as our reference point. If you have a solid reputation with your clients, then when you hit, the only word I know how to use is a low in your business, whatever, staffing shortage, COVID crisis, whatever it might be, if you've taken care of them, then they'll take care of you, and you're able to keep them. That doesn't mean you take the client for granted. Absolutely not. It's no different than when I show up for a race, right? It doesn't matter if I ran that course, 5 times before. I treat that race like it's the first time I've done it. So it's the same way with with the cleans. Mindy, my manager, she says it perfectly when we have our team meetings. Never allow yourself to, become complacent in your job, because when you become complacent, then you start missing things and you start taking the client for granted. And then so there's that aspect for your A and B, because if you're taking care of them on that level, then that's where your referrals come from, and you end up with like-minded clients. So then what happens with those C's? With those C's, you really have to sit back and evaluate the whole situation. Are you showing up on time? Is it the same team members? That's something that we strive hard to do, is ensure that the same team members showing up at the home, so that, it's, they're not having to, especially because we have keys and door codes, etc. That's just something that's important with us. Are we missing something? Is there some little detail that's important to the client? And sometimes what I found with the C clients is they just need some FaceTime with me, not over the phone or by text message, just showing up at their home and talking with them and finding out how they feel about the clean, how they feel about the team members. Sometimes it's not necessarily the clean. Sometimes there's just a connection issue that they're missing with the team members. So how did we get there? How do we fix it? Sometimes, and the rare occasions when it's been a team member, it's just been body language, not a discourtesy attitude by the employee. There's just, hey, just need to, refocus it. We had one client, what was it for her? It was the windows. So even though we don't, unless it's a market ready or a move out clean, we don't clean the inside of the windows. It's part of our deep clean. In her mind, somewhere along the way, she thought that should be part of the regular clean. Simple conversation that we took, cleared up the situation. And from there, she was happy. Once a month now, we clean the inside of the windows. We just schedule additional time. Sometimes the D clients are really, they're really hard. I am a problem solver, a people fixer. Sometimes I stay with those clients probably a little bit longer than what I should, which is on one side of the coin, you want to try to fix the situation and address all of their issues, but it's almost like when you have a case, it's like, okay, you find these issues and you fix them, you address them, but then more come up. So then you fix them, you address them, and then more come up. Well, and the process of you trying to continuously work with the client, knowing that there's not anything wrong with the job you're doing, you're also pulling down your employees, because now when the employees come to that particular client's home, they're already on eggshells, so to speak, before they've even touched the door. So then what happens to the clean? They're probably going to miss something because they're already on edge that they have a client that they know doesn't like their work and is going to pick the clean apart. Even if they use their checklist, even if they go through that home, even if we put the whole manual together that a client's given us, you've created undue stress on your employees, and you've now put them in a situation where they can potentially fail. And so I've become much better about, if I can't resolve it in 2 to 3 cleans, then to approach it in a way that's respectful to the client and just letting them know that, unfortunately, we feel like we can't, we're not, meeting the expectations of the clean that you need in your manner, and letting them find another cleaning company, but just do it in a way where the client, there's a back door for the client. They don't feel like they're being, singled out, but getting your employees out of that situation too. So that's taken some, and it's hard because you've got some confrontational people out there, and there's no perfect way to do it. You just try to do it as gently as you can, and then just move on to the next client.
Such great verbiage. I really like that. I think that's really good there. I'm taking notes. Again, I think I've gotten pretty lucky with clients. We live in a very, very rural small town area. So one of the things that's been important to me is I will only grow as large as the company allows me to have a perfect reputation. And a perfect reputation to me doesn't mean that we do perfect work. It means that I'm always able to solve the problem, and I think that's something that's huge. So when I find a client or if I have a house visit, one of the things that's really important to me is really explaining that this is a relationship. This is cleaning. This is just floors and toilets, I say. So I need 100% honest feedback. And if we can't have that feedback, we cannot change what we do not know. And we will continue to customize our services as we work for you and get to know your family. And I really make sure to really highlight the expectations, which is, once you really think about it, the house is a living and breathing creature. As soon as we walk out of that room, yes, it's clean, but it is not going to stay that way. That is just not how houses work, especially ones with forced air and dogs. and children and all of those things. And so I think it's just one of those things of just really making sure to communicate from the get-go. We are here to do cleaning services. However, it will not still be perfect. Hair is going to settle, whatever's going to happen. But then also really making sure to understand with the client in the most professional way. The same thing with my employees. I'm a no BS person, you know, and if it is not a good fit, I am unapologetic about being like, hey, this isn't a fit for us. I had a situation this past summer where I had a client where she was very rude. She was already getting a deal on her rate, which I am the most expensive in our area. And one of my clients, I'm her backup cleaner because she doesn't want to break up with her current cleaner, right? And so she said, you are 100% unapologetic about how expensive you are, and I love that about you. And I was like, perfect, because that just fueled me to never, ever, ever second guess my rates, you know. And if you're as busy as we are, they always say that you're not charging enough, you know. And so this gal, I was giving her, you know, like the local rate, you know, and we got on site and she was rude to my employees. She was making comments about how she was paying top dollar, so they better be getting compensated well. I mean, very inappropriate comments, very inappropriate behaviorism. And I sat on it for about 2 hours. And I thought to myself, how do I want to respond to this? So I have this big long email about how it was inappropriate and all of these things. And then I just, you know, I selected all, I deleted it, and I wrote an email and I said, my employee let me know about the interaction during the cleaning today. I want you to know this is not a fit for us. This account is not a fit for us. I just take all emotion out of it. Your account is not a fit for our company. We aren't even charging you for today's work. I don't want that money. I don't want it. That's a liability for me. And wish you the best of luck. And she called and she emailed, and I didn't respond because it was like, I'm not going to even begin to teach someone who is actually older than me, who has children my age, how to act in this world. And then I made sure to make a point of that to my employees to show, you have my back and I will have yours. You have to make the right call. You have to, you know, you have to be in those moments and being 100% integrity all the time. So that way, when something does happen like that, I will cut ties. And it's just been really great. So there's been, you know, challenges with clients. When we first started in the beginning, our rate was $35 per person per hour. And people were just gawking at that. It was like, I can't believe that you think you can charge that much. And it was like, well, watch me. I'm going to put my rate to $60 per person per hour. And I had a client who called me, and I really thought a lot of this client before this phone call happened, but you see people's true personality when, you know, there's a phrase called, you know, getting crabbed, and it's like they just want to pull you down. And she called me up and she said, you will never make it in this industry if you charge that rate. And I said, well, thank you so much for your feedback. I hope you have a great summer. And if you find another house cleaner, best of luck to you, you know. And she called me and my waiting list was full. I'm so sorry. I don't work with people like that. I just don't. And I would rather us be slow than to be the help, because we are changing the stigma of what a cleaner is.
Awesome.
Yeah, that is awesome. Do you have any other questions, buddy? I think this has been a really great lunch and learn with lots of great information shared. I love what everyone has said. Like, it's just been great.
Likewise. Well, clearly we have two unicorns here, so
Yes.
not in the best. So wow, I'm blown away. It's really been a pleasure to hear from both of you. And Kristin, I'm happy that we put this together and look forward to the next one. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Let's wrap it up.
I even took
wonderful.
like 2 pages of notes, and I got information. I think this was really valuable. And I thank y'all for your time, for being on and just being vulnerable, being able to share. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Good stuff. Well, go get them, guys.
All right. Bye, everyone.
See you.
Bye.